Good evening and welcome to the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. I'm your host, Roman. We have a good show planned for you today. Stay tuned to After the Drive at 5 for Warriors Talk at 6 p.m. with my girl, Rochelle. Tonight, my guest is an entrepreneur, a consultant, and now an author of her new book entitled Unexpected. Please give Drive at 5 welcome to the one and only Brandy. Wow, I goofed that up. Brandy Morris, welcome back to the Drive.
Thank you.
You know,
Oddly enough.
It was an off-air conversation, and that was in my head, so forgive me on that one.
Well, I used to be Brandy Johnson.
Oh, yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't that far off. So yeah. So please give intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station an update since the last time you were on the Drive.
Oh my gosh. So many different changes, amazing changes at that. As you said, I am an author now. My daughter is also an author. We've been doing a lot of traveling, city to city, state to state, as I discussed when I'm talking about being an entrepreneur. I think that's very important to the success of the small business entrepreneur. And I just wanted to make sure that I took this route of redoing everything that I talk to people about doing in business. And it has literally been a success. We've sold our books just came out last month. We've sold between the two of us 5,600 books. And that is from not going waiting for Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or someone's marketing. I've literally created a tour for my daughter and myself to go on. And we've gone to different schools, different picnics, different events that people have asked me to come to talk to parents about her book, as well as mine. And we've sold 5,300 books and book boxes because we have the books and the book boxes.
That's unique. Describe the book boxes for us.
Have you seen them?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, they're so beautiful, Roman. You know what? I'm mad because I did have one in the car, but my teacher asked me for it, but I did it for you. I'll ship it to you though. But it's so nice because of the where you see like the title of the book. So I actually have a bag that's like a glass and chocolates come in it with rose petals covering it. And it just explains the man's intent, so to speak, because typically when a man um, with psychosis gives you a um, bouquet of roses, he gives it to you with chocolates. If you all aren't dating, and then that's when the stalking um, moves forward. And this book is a what do you call it? It does kind of ruffle your feathers a little bit
Well,
for
let's
women.
get into that. Tell us about your unexpected book because when you transitioned to that, I was like, all men does that? You
No,
sure?
no.
You
Well,
sure
I
about
did. I
that?
specify some men that have mental illness. They do, or psychotic. Yeah, they will do those types of things to establish advances. And there are definitely triggers in this book. This book is about four different young people, two women and two males. There's a four-part series. The first series is about Kyle Wilson. Kyle Wilson, he is engaged to be married. He's a prominent leader in his community. He works with aldermen. He works with some of everybody. He's loved very big time by his community. He ends up, as I said, he's engaged, but he ends up coming across a young lady at an appointment that he has, and he finds her attractive. He likes her a lot. He asks her out on a date, even though he is engaged, and he asks her on a date actually where he sees her at, which is where he found out she would be. And she tells him no. He moves forward. He finds out other places that she goes. He ends up raping her, sexually assaulting her. And she actually ends up stalking him to get him to tell her the truth about what happened because he doesn't get arrested right away. And because he doesn't get arrested right away, and he wouldn't tell the truth, she goes ahead and lets him know that she has HIV. and he wouldn't have to know that she had HIV had he kept his hands to himself. So consequences, responsibilities of being responsible to allow a person to have their own space. But
Did she lie or that's actual?
that's something you would have to find out when you read the book. You don't have to buy the book, but the viewers should buy the book so they can find out.
Speaking like a true consultant and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for writing the book? You are so busy. You call me from time to time,
Yeah.
and I call you from time to time as well.
Yeah.
And you say, Roman, I'll call you back. And 15 days later, you
Oh yeah.
you say, hey, Roman, I got something going on. Do you want to do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah. Yeah.
How you fit time? Is something triggered to inspire you to write a book
Yeah.
with your schedule and everything?
Yeah, it did. It had been years and years of it was coming. It was about time. This situation, this book is based on various situations that I've come across in my life, various people that I know and that I've seen. But most importantly, I wrote it because these behaviors do exist, and they exist because childhood neglect. Not and now when I say childhood neglect, I mean neglecting to tell a child to stop. It's okay to tell children to stop and allow them to hurt because you told them to stop, opposed to telling them to stop and then they do it again and then you keep allowing it to happen. And then those behaviors, unnoticed, some behaviors are unnoticed, but the behaviors that are noticed, they start to become unaddressed. And when you don't address a behavior, you get these children, they end up being teenagers, and then they go from teenagers to adults, and they take those behaviors with them. So a child, whether it be a female or a male, let me get this clear, whether it be a female or male child, once they have learned that they can get away with something, they take that with them. Those behaviors go with them then when they get grown. And some of those behaviors, when those people hear no, they don't accept no well. And it turns into these types of situations. And the reason why this book is like it is because this gentleman, we are also going to adapt this into a film. But the reason why this book is like it is, and the reason why this script is like it is because it's unexpected because of who he is and how he is to his community. And we really do get this thing with our community leaders like they can do no wrong. And then all of a sudden, when you hear about it, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's impossible. But these behaviors, they do show you these patterns of behaviors that is in them. You see them, it's just that we ignore them because of certain dynamics, you know.
In the book, you can read some realities
Hmm.
and emotions in the character's behavior. Are there some realities and situations that were put in the book?
Absolutely. It's definitely a fiction, nonfiction, for sure. There are definitely, like I said, it's this book is written based off of years and years of working in the entertainment industry and working in the industry of just being in business and working with people and seeing the types of behavior, the mannerisms that people exhibit. It's very amazing to be able to see the difference in people's worlds and how they react.
The critical words in the book that stood out to me are insecurities, courage, unaddressed, and personality traits. Why are those words specifically hard hitting in the book?
So one of the things we have to understand is when people exhibit insecurities, a lot of times those are the people who say that they're nonchalant or standoffish or it like this word. I'm sorry, I always draw blanks when I get on this show. It's this, I don't know why. It's the word that everybody uses like to say that they don't really interact with people much. um
Introvert, extrovert.
yes, like, oh, I don't interact, but that's really not a good thing. You have to know how to interact with people. If you don't know how to interact with people, sometimes that causes social awkwardness. And when a person is socially awkward and they don't know how to interact, they become uncomfortable. And so that can sometimes come off as making others uncomfortable with being around you, because sometimes when people are socially awkward they may stand there and just stare at you because they really don't know what to say, or they may stand off in a corner and stare, but they really want to interact with you, but because they don't know how to interact with you, it comes off as a little bit creepy.
Let's talk about the internet.
Mhm.
Is a prime example of what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Social media has zoned people out of reality.
Absolutely.
And of course, when you're in the world of make believe, everything is handed to you.
Yeah, so people believe.
When it's reality, no triggers something.
Yeah.
Let's discuss that because it's actually a context in the book
Mm.
that kind of like goes into that internet type of thing, because sometimes when people confuse non fiction with reality and people get confused with that, that's also in the book as well, because of Cal's demeanor. Cal's yes to everything.
Mhm.
Yes, you can do this, Bill. Yes, you can do this. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
Found someone? No. I'm attracted to you. I'm going to get what I want because I'm used to getting what
Right.
I want. There are men and women out there right now listening to IntellectualRadio.com,
Mhm.
used to get their way.
Mhm.
What you tell them?
Well, I'm pretty much across the board very firm with no. I'm very quick to disassociate myself with playing word games. It's just a firm yes or a firm no, nothing in between. So I kind of try to cut out the middleman, or any room to try to speculate on what I may have been thinking that of what they may think I really meant to say. And we have to get to that. Like some people talk so much that they talk over what they really need to say just because they're trying to can make it convenient for a person's ears. They don't want to hurt their feelings. But the sad part is your no needs to be no and your yes needs to be yes. And it does not always have to be explained. One of the problems that we have that you will see in this book is some people really do have this thing where they always need to know why. Why? Kids have that. Kids, it is important. So when we're in school in English, we learn why, where, when, and how. Unfortunately, why is not always something that needs to be known. When someone tells you no, that's it, that's all. You don't have to explain why I'm saying no. It's just no.
In reading the book, the characters have an interesting twists and turns in their behavior, like you just discussed. Sometimes a person reading, the reader have the questions of why.
Mhm.
And then in another instance, how. Explain that to us, the why and how.
Like why and how, as in why the book is like it is and how it became that way.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but also the characters, because when you're reading the book, Cal's character can be determining why his behavior turned for the worse.
so
and
It
how.
does talk
Go,
about that.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It does
I'm
talk
not
about
trying to
that.
give too much away. I know
Yeah, I
you're
know
looking
it's
at
so hard.
it.
It is hard for me too because I really want people, you get it and you understand. Like my husband is always like, the best movies, the books are better. And you get all of what I hear you say all of the time. You mashed potatoes, greens, and all that. You get all of that out of this book. And the why is mostly because how he was raised in his childhood. It talks about the fact that his mother was almost 40 when she had him. Remember? His father had all these kids before he finally got here. So he just had room to do whatever he wants to do. But it also explains about what happened when he was in college. We can't get that away. But so the why is literal, it builds up. And so that's where the unaddressed and unnoticed behaviors come in from because you keep getting a tap on your hand. And now it actually expands to this type of behavior.
At times, the character's behavior is like an emotional roller coaster. For
Mm-hmm.
example, from good decisions to bad decisions, what are your thoughts on the emotional roller coaster and the excellence and bad choices in the book?
You know, Well, this is literally everyday life for all of us. We live on a roller coaster ride. And when somebody is trying to make a decision, even with the young lady character, you see that part where she's having that discussion with the doctor and he's trying to help her to understand like this is something you need to do. But she in her mind, she like, no, because this is my life, this is my business. But what we find out is everybody seems to be being selfish. And even though, they have reasons, they seem to be a bit selfish.
Are you considered, when you talk about realities
Mhm.
and fiction, is a little of you in the book?
A lot of people keep asking me that. Um, yes and no.
That's an scapegoat.
But it's true. Yes, it's like I said, it's a lot of information that's just coming from things that I've seen. Some of it is me, some of it's people that I know, you know. Um I know, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people go through a lot. And so our instincts change us and the things that we see change us.
Is there a meaning behind the title Unexpected?
Absolutely. I said it's unexpected. The person, it will all to me, it would all make more sense once we see the movie. But the person you would never expect it is the title behind the person. People put people on pedestals based on their titles. Your title dictates the type of person that you are. If you are an alderman, you are held to a certain type of error. People look at you different. People hold you to a certain type of esteem. You're supposed to do certain things. You're supposed to act a certain way. And this person is a nice looking alderman with this young lady who, appears to be very smart, very intelligent, but not so nice looking. And so now you start to find out more about him because you think, is he with this young lady to show that he's a good person, or is he with her because he loves her and he's out here doing all this other stuff, messing with other people? So it's a lot.
Some instance in the book, not saying, listen to the question carefully
Mhm.
because I don't want you to jump on me. In reading the book, I visualize Acrimony, the Tyler Perry movie.
Really? That's a compliment.
I I gathered the comparison a
Mm.
little bit. Discuss that a little bit.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you. Um, but that's to me is a compliment, and I'm trying to think of how, other than wanting him dead, I guess. I think it's just, it seems
Try
like
to steer this way.
I don't really know how much of a comparison I would have to see that movie. But I really do appreciate. I think it's a compliment. I would have to. I've never seen it.
Volume 1, it's a cliffhanger at the end.
Absolutely.
Volume 2, what people should expect for Volume 2.
Well, people should first of all. The next volume 2 is about. So first of all, it's a few characters. It's Kyle, River, Giselle, as well as Carolyn. And so the next volume is about and Jeff. The next volume is about Jeff.
Why the focus on Jeff?
Because it needs we need to understand. Well, you talked about the cliffhanger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. That's why the focus is on Jeff.
What you like the reader to learn from the book?
I would like for the reader, just first of all, a little more about this book is there's a whole note section in the back of the book. I added a note section so people can write down all the things they need to write down. So this book is a little bit triggering because of the things that's occurring in the book, and people should know that it's definitely a trigger. But I want people to be in tune with their feelings, be in tune with who they are, be in tune with what they have going on. Go and run to talk to somebody if you need to talk to somebody about something that you're going through. Understand that obviously we hear this a lot and it may sound cliche, but nobody in this world is alone. Everybody has something similar that they're going through with somebody. So never feel alone to the point where you feel like you can't talk. Open up, have a conversation. And if that's not the right person to talk to, find somebody else to talk to.
Not to contradict to what you're saying, because you're going to kill me for saying this.
Probably.
You you don't want to talk to just
everybody.
Anybody.
Right. I agree.
You got to find someone that
That's
has
true.
open-minded, caring, have an actual, let's say, won't beat you up for making a mistake. Because you have some people that will beat you until you're a new one. And if you're in emotional state, you don't need that.
That is very true. It's kind of weird, and I hate to say it. Sometimes you get in a point where you don't even know who you can talk to. You just need to talk to somebody. And the only way sometimes some people don't know who they talking to. They just need to talk. I've talked to people standing in the store. People have walked up to me, Roman, and literally just held a whole conversation with me about their life. And I just be standing there listening. I be having a ton of stuff to do. But if a person walk up to you and start talking to you, they must need to talk. And so sometimes it's okay to be that ear. You know, we need it. This is the world, this is the climate we're in.
How does taking a new role as an author feels like?
It feels pretty good. You know, it feels good. It feels good to be able to share my work and who I am, because I do a lot of writing, and I think a lot. My husband is excellent with his writing, and we have plans to do a few different movies. I left where I was. I'm venturing out and traveling, and getting out there more. And so I took a break from all of that some years ago, and I'm like, well, it's time for me to do it all over again. It's what I like.
Please give intellectualradio.com/iHeartRadio station how they can get in contact with you and get the book.
Well, you can get in contact with me on Facebook at the unexpected.com series. You can also go to the website, which is the unexpected.com series. You can find me at Brandy Morris, BRANDI MORRIS at Facebook. Yeah, you can call me. All my numbers are the same. You can find my number on Ladyworks. Ladyworks is my headquarters company. So yeah, you can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere.
Just put Put your name in, you will pop up.
Pretty much. I hate to say it, but you can Google me.
Don't be a stranger to the Drive at 5.
Will not.
When we come back on the Drive at 5, we have breaking news when we come back on the Drive at 5.